Hiya buddies, Jose Wire Ninjas. We build systems and circuits of integrity. We're also Dreamedia's preferred partner in the New Jersey area. And that means two things. Number one, we make amazing YouTube content for you guys. Number two, if you need system design, sales, audio video equipment, anything, Dreamedia's got you covered. So hit them up. Also, if you need install, they also have you covered because they're going to refer you to us and we're going to take care of you with that 5-star service. Now, today, we are in Long Valley, New Jersey, where I'm going to show you how to do drywall repairs, or at least the way I do them. So let's take a look. All right, buddies, so we're going to do some drywall repair here. I'm going to show you how I do it. Now, there's a lot of variation in this subject matter or field. There's different types of spackle, there's different tools to use, and there's different types of tape to use. There's mesh tape, there's paper tape. I prefer paper. Why I prefer paper is it doesn't raise the patch or the wall at all. It's really close and tight to the wall. It makes it easier to spackle and it makes it cleaner in the end. It's a lot better looking repair, and it takes less coats or less work to perform in the end. So I use paper for. Let's go over the things we need. We need at least 2 knives, one to use as like a trowel, and then also one to spread spackle on and fill seams. But then also this one's going to be used for our feathering in the end to get nice clean, how do you say, lines on the feathering. So we need 2 knives, or at least a knife and a trowel. We need some type of tape for the seams, which is either paper or mesh. You should try both, see what you like better. Mesh is probably better used for bigger holes or bigger repairs, not seams. For simple seams, clean cuts, I like to use paper. Now, the last thing we need is actual spackle. And here we have the all-purpose stuff. I don't have a particular allegiance to any of them. There's 3 general types you'll find in these bigger sizes, which is the +3, the ultra lightweight, and then this all-purpose green bucket. A couple things we should go over. It does come in a powder form too, which is cool, but it's a real pain to mix that stuff live on a site. The benefits of using the powdered spackle is that you can mix it to a consistency where if you need it dry within minutes, you can do that with that stuff. You can make it real thick and get a lot more spackling done in a lower time frame, let's say. You know, it dries quicker and then you could sand it and rehit it in much faster, more efficient. Now, this stuff is pre-mixed. It's great because you don't have to spend time mixing it live on a site. Also, it's the perfect consistency, and it will tackle almost any or all jobs. So, we have the all-purpose today because that's just what they had at the store. Generally, I like to use the ultra lightweight. The reason why is I feel like I can get a lot more spackle on the wall in the first coat, which reduces the actual time and effort it takes to get a final finish on it, let's say. So we have the all-purpose spackle. We have our walls here. I think the step 1 would be to prep the walls, which is the drywall has been repaired. We did our bracing here and we put the patches back in, but there's a little bit more prep work, and what that is this. We want to make sure there's no loose pieces or parts. You see this stuff, this little powdered stuff? So like if you're going to put spackle on here, anything loose, powdery, or anything like that's going to ruin your spackle. It's going to mix in with the spackle. You're not going to have a clean line. So you have to prep the wall in this fashion. All I do is scrape it along the seams and get off any extra little tidbits that are going to try to ruin my spackle job while I'm doing it. So nothing crazy here. Just get a good scrape on it. A little residue on the floor. That's what you want to get off of there. We'll show up here where I'm getting this top too. Just getting off that excess from the cut. Again, if anything dry or powdery mixes in with the fresh spackle, what's going to happen is it's going to ruin it for you. So this is a step you cannot skip. So now with our seams prepped, we can go ahead and get this done. So what I like to do is get some spackle on the knife or on the trowel. Yeah, this stuff is much thicker than the ultra lightweight, so hopefully this plays out well. You really get used to what you're currently using. So, all right, let's start fresh. So, get some spackle on the trowel, and then you're going to be getting cuts or sections of this stuff. You have to learn to work these knives in this fashion, using your trowel, taking a cut or a piece of spackle, and then replacing it. And you also want to keep all this wet. You don't want to let pieces or parts of this dry on the knife, because again, any dried spackle will ruin the wet spackle. So we're going to get a cut, place it down the middle of the knife, and fill in our seam. You want to make sure to fill in that seam and get a light coat on there so that the paper can stick to the seam itself. So we're filling in the seam, but also having a light coat on top so that the paper can stick to it. Just a nice light coat so it doesn't, not too much pours out when we go to stick our paper on. So now that's prepped. All the seams are filled and we have a light coating over there on the wall to get our paper on. So let's start getting our paper on. It's easier if you unroll a bunch of this so it doesn't snag or try to pull against you while you're taping your seams. So that's what I'm doing. I prepped the roll now. Now we can get our tape on. When you're taping, you want to hit the seam in any screw holes you hit. That's the best way to go about this. Go a little bit above and below the actual seam to make sure you have coverage. Place the tape on the wall, lightly press, and stick it to the spackle. Like I said, we need a light coat on here so the paper can stick. And then you're going to press the knife into the paper and simply pull and rip and tear it off. You can use scissors or something else, but once you get good at this, you really only want to have your knives in your hand. You want to be more efficient. And you're just going to press, stick, and cut with the knife. Now, the next step is you have to stick this to the wall. And the way I do that is I hold a very little portion of it, the end, and I run my knife, exerting force, sticking it to the wall. Beautiful. You see what I mean about excess? If you have too much spackle on this wall, a lot's going to pour out the sides when you go to stick it. And to finish up here, I just do the same thing. Give it some pressure, and then the excess spackle, you can fill in the seams that we're going to hit, keeping it nice and clean on the wall. Let's hit the other one. So again, thumb down, press, close the knife to the wall, exerting force, closing off the paper to the wall. Now, the only part left is these two, top and bottom. So I'm going to hit some spackle there so I can stick my paper onto the top and bottom. And then we will hit some paper. Let me get off this excess spackle off the knife. And then we're going to hit some paper. We're going to tape this seam. We only need it the width that's missing there. And then we'll hit the bottom here and cut it to the right length. Put it aside. Again, this is a little bit trickier because now you already have tape seams. So you have to make sure to not rip into your seam that your tape that you already did, but you have to stick these to the wall as well. So a little bit trickier. There you go. Hold the corner, press down, get it stuck to the wall. Same thing on the other side. Beautiful. Maybe have a little excess. You can work it out, work out the bubbles. And that's it. So now step one, I would say, is complete. You know, the tape or the seams are filled and taped. Now we can throw a coat over. That way it's less work to finish this thing. So you want to have enough spackle on your trowel to do this. So I'm going to put a little bit more on there. And what I like to do is, again, work your trowel, clean your knife off, and start taking cuts of this spackle. And you're going to want to run it up. See, we're missing a little bit there, so I'm going to run a little bit more up there and get a nice top coat. Let's hit this side. Beautiful, top coat. See how much? Not too much, not crazy, but make sure to get enough top coat. Now, a lot of spackling, the skills involved is going to come from experience while doing it. So I can show you all this and I can give you everything I know, but the best way to learn this is to actually perform it. So I highly recommend, if you're interested in doing this or you want to get good at it, that you start doing it as soon as you can, because until you start doing it, you're not going to get better at it. Now that the top coat has been applied, I can go ahead and use my large knife and feather this nice and smooth. So I usually like to go with 2 passes only. So we're going to go 1 pass on one side, and you're going to want to press down on the side you're going to taper it to the wall. And then let's press down. See, press down on the right side now. Press down on that side of the knife and feather off the wall. And that's it. So I want to show you guys something. So like here we hit into the tape a little bit, and see here we have some spots. So we're going to have to redo the side a bit. We want to make sure to get it as smooth as we can. There you go. But I like to keep it to as little passes with the knife as possible, because you will notice that the more passes you try to go, the spackle starts drying on you and you only mess it up. So try and keep this to 2 or 3 feathers. Whatever else is left, you just have to hit it on the next coat. Spackle is a multi-step thing. You cannot expect to have perfect smooth patches in one pass. It's just simply not possible due to the nature of what we're doing. You know, we're taking a wet substance, applying it, and then it's going to dry. So with the temperature variance, this piece of matter is going to vary a little bit. You know, it's going to change in size. It's going to suck in a little bit. So this will change a little bit over once it dries. You know, it will change in, how do you say, size or shape, you know? And and you will require additional sanding and spackling most likely. All right, buddies, hope you enjoyed that video. We showed you how to spackle walls. I showed you my methods. I try to give you the ins and outs of what I do to get my taping and wall repair done. We can check out some final finished work here. Those are what the patches look like. Nice, clean. Walls are good to go. We try to show you everything from start to finish, be more in depth, and show you the actual way we do it. So we hope you appreciate the time and effort going into this stuff. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Oh my gosh, is that the Dreamedia van in my neighborhood? What?